Hey, this is the Ruben J. Report. You are listening to a brand new podcast brought to you by multimediamouth.com. And we are here. We are defending the American dream, the American culture, and everything that is great about this country. And I'm live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course on our audio platform, Spreaker.com. So the American dream is under attack, and currently it's not winning. As the American dream is under a violent attack by the left, Americans are beginning to fight back slowly but surely. People are waking up and realizing, oh man, this isn't the greatest thing after all. We have news all over the country that business owners who are told do not open, yet they open at the risk of the crown becoming very angry at them. The left is very angry at people who are opening up their business. Like in Dallas, we saw Shelley Luther get arrested, fined, and sentenced 7 days. She got sentenced to 7 days in jail for opening up her business because she could not feed her children. It was very sad to see an American getting arrested for wanting to feed her children. She was eventually released, but the judge in her case, that ended up throwing her in jail, said, apologize. Apologize to your elected officials. Apologize to the crown, because the crown is not happy with you right now. The crown is very upset with the way that you have decided to disobey our orders. It's un-American. It's un-American for a person who has a business, who needs to feed their children, to be thrown in jail because a judge wanted her or him to apologize. She was eventually released by the Supreme Court of Texas, but it's just not okay for wanting to be free and be thrown in jail for doing something that's not even illegal. It's not illegal to run your business. Like, listen, I understand that there are some safety concerns, but a hair salon is probably one of the cleanest places that you could be. You have to be an extremely sanitary person to be in the grooming profession. Yes, there's unemployment, but what happens when you file for unemployment and get denied, or it takes 4 months to hear back from the people making those decisions? Here's a personal story for you. I applied for unemployment. I was let go from all my jobs when this all started. I applied for unemployment on March 15th. That was about 5 days before all this happened. But everyone knew what was going to happen. Everyone knew that this was where it was headed to. I applied on March 15th. Here I am, May 16th, 17th, 18th. What day is it? 18th? Yeah, May 18th. And I'm still waiting to hear back from the unemployment office. I haven't been denied, but I haven't been completely approved yet either. So what happens when you're waiting 4 months to get the money you paid into the unemployment program, the unemployment insurance, yet you still haven't heard back yet? How long are we supposed to wait? I applied for food stamps about 3 weeks ago. I was approved for $12 in emergency funding and have yet to receive my food stamps EBT card. Thankfully, I have a couple bucks left over and I'm able to feed myself slowly but surely. But how long does the government expect me or Shelley Luther to wait until the government says, all right, here are your rations, before I start to go out and I decide on my own that it's time to start making a living? How long should I wait before I just say, screw it, and go out and start finding ways to make my own money? Because what's happening right now is not okay. It is not okay to see our Democratic leaders marching another multi-trillion-dollar bailout, not even a bailout, it's a relief fund, to people who we want to work. It's not like we're sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. We've we've chosen not to do anything that we wanted to do. Like, it's not like we're not sitting at home waiting for a job. Like, we want to work. We don't want to be getting a government handout every single week or month or every 2 weeks or however it's done. We want to earn our living. We want to build our business, build our brand, build what we want. Like, that's the American dream. The American dream is to build our own future. Shelley Luther built up her business on her own. She's being told by government officials that she was not authorized to run her business. It's not the American way. That is definitely not the American way. Now let's talk about a woman named Beth George. She's the owner of a resort called White Pines, based out of the communist state of Illinois. Beth was basically, she was forced to close her business like everybody else. 15 days to stop the cure. And after 4 months, Beth begins to think about, okay, maybe we can start reopening soon. Well, the state finally releases the regulations in order for a business like White Pines to open up. And under those regulations, under the government approved regulations to be able to open up her business, she did the math and realized there is no fiscally responsible way I can do this. There is no way where I can operate under the state mandated requirements and be able to stay open. See, those state regulations stated that a business like this one, White Pines Resort in Illinois, can only have 50 people in a ballroom at once. The business that she's in is a volume business where you want to have big parties. She specialized in weddings that book a couple hundred guests at a time. She had a buffet where you spend $20 a person and have a buffet line. And buffets are probably on their way out because of this coronavirus thing, which personally to me, I don't really care for buffets. I like the idea of being able to eat as much food as I possibly can for a set price. I don't like the fact that anybody and their mothers can come and put their hands, on the stuff that we use to serve the food. But think about it. If you charge $20 a person now, or you can have a couple hundred people at a time coming in, if you're only allowed to have 50 people at that point, you're going to have to double or triple your prices just to break even. Does it make sense? Can you imagine having a business that you ran for 30 years being forcibly taken from you because the government thinks that it's unsafe for you to have a wedding party there or to have a big theater? It's unheard of. There was no way on earth that Beth George could run her business under the regulations that the state of Illinois had approved. Okay. Well, how long, is it just a couple of weeks that she would have to run under these regulations? How long would these regulations have to run and be in place? And how long would she have to be at this maximum capacity of 50 people? Well, the state of Illinois says until there's a vaccine developed and available and readily available. Vaccine that, while the ones that are currently being developed have seen good results and have seen promising results, could still take 18 months or more to be fully developed and approved. If it even gets fully approved, even if there's a vaccine that is able to fight off the virus the way we need it to be able to be effective, there may never be a vaccine. Beth George is supposed to run at 50 people where she's used to having hundreds of people to break even until there's a vaccine developed. It's not possible. It's not possible. So Beth George announced that she's closing her life work. She's closing it full time. She is filing for bankruptcy. And it's all because the dictator in charge is not letting people take the risk in their own hands. America is all about taking risks. We do that every day. I choose to get in my car and drive to work, even though the automobile fatalities are through the roof. I choose to go eat at a buffet, even though it's probably one of the grossest things in the world to do. I choose, well, I don't choose, but people out there choose to go out to bars and, hook up with random strangers And some of them decide to use protection, some of them don't. We literally do this every single day and have been doing it for years. But all of a sudden, the American people shouldn't be making that decision anymore. The American people are smart enough to decide if they should have a wedding of 300 people or keep it to a smaller number. Maybe. I mean, all in all, Beth George, she could theoretically just file for bankruptcy and force the women who have paid deposits to have their weddings at her resort fight with anyone else that she might have, owe money to. What Beth decided to do, which is the smart and nice thing to do, is she decided, I'm going to have a going out of business sale. I'm going to sell all the stuff in the gift shop. And what I'm going to do with this money is I'm going to take this money and I'm going to hopefully make enough money to pay it back to the women who paid a deposit. Yet, as the sale was going down, she announced that her local police department shut down her going out of sale business so that she could help pay back the women who paid her for a deposit for a wedding at her resort that they're not going to be able to have. She states in a Facebook post that people were being responsible. They were wearing masks. They were socially distancing, but she was still shut down. How in the hell is it okay for Walmart, a business that could probably close their doors for the rest of the year and on, pay all their staff and their rent, and still make more money than God, be able to operate with hundreds of people inside their store, but Beth George having maybe a couple dozen people in her store is dangerous? It doesn't make any sense. Her American dream is under attack, and unfortunately, she lost. If what's going on right now hasn't crossed the line for you, I don't know what will. America, you need to wake up. My friend said today on a Facebook post that the free trial on socialism has ended. And if you don't cancel it now, it's here to stay. And for those of you who are too stupid to understand what I'm saying, I'm not saying that we should all just go out to the street and start licking the ground after people spit on it. And I'm not saying that we should go into a local bar and fit 200 people into a room that's only designed for 75. What I am saying is open up America and let people work. Let Americans do their thing. Make America great again is really what I'm saying. Just because one Karen thinks it's too dangerous for another Karen to go and dine in somewhere doesn't mean you force all Karens to just do takeout. Here in Los Angeles, we have a shit-for-brain mayor named Eric Garcetti. Garcetti announced last week that the beaches are open, but you weren't allowed on the dry sand. The sand that's literally everywhere, but you could go on the wet sand. You can stand on the wet sand. You can go sit in the wet sand, but God forbid you step foot on the dry sand. It's people like Garcetti that we need to point to when others ask, hey, so what's the plan? There's no plan in place to reopen. We got to remind people that government does not do plans very well. In fact, the government is the person who tells you, hey, go to the beach, but you can't stand on the dry sand. You can only stand on the wet sand. And the rest of us are thinking, how in the heck do you get to the wet sand if you can't walk on the dry sand? I wouldn't be surprised that when it's time for Eric Garcetti to announce, hey, you know what? People can eat in restaurants again. He's going to say, people, you can have your dine-in meals, but you can't enter through a door. How the hell are you supposed to? Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. It's a hypothetical. I probably just gave him an idea. The American dream is under attack, and it's time for true Americans to stand up and speak. It's time to fight back. The great American reopening needs to begin, and it should have started about 3 weeks ago. We need to save our economy. We need to save the vulnerable, and we need to act now. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you tomorrow, 6 p.m., same time. This is the Ruben J. Report.